So yeah, good afternoon everyone. So here we have our friend from Australia, Charbal with us. Charbal, what happened today? As we were discussing offline also, Australia were in a commanding position. They made the impact despite a good partnership by Akshar and Ashwin yesterday. I think Australia came out batting brilliantly. They attacked the spinners from the first over. They scored 60, and I think Indians were looking down the barrel when the game ended yesterday. So where do you think they missed it? Because everyone seemed to got out playing a similar sort of a stroke sweep. So what happened actually according to you?
Yeah, you nailed it. You hit the nail on the head. Uh, Overuse of the sweep, and a lot of the players are not comfortable playing that shot. It was just, yeah, they just overplayed the sweep shot. Really, that was the only go-to option it seemed, uh, and they didn't play it to the right ball. There was a lot of occasions they played it to the wrong delivery. Cummins, shocking shot. Carey,
Yes.
bad shot. Renshaw, very full ball to sweep. Very risky playing at the ball like that. Didn't use the feet. Didn't trust their defense. It was just a really a disappointing day. Bless you. Very disappointing day.
Yeah, I agree. See, the problem that I felt they could once they lost couple of wickets, I think they could have tried to get to at least a 150 or a 160, but they were kept going on for their strokes. With no, they didn't adopted
Just
a
it was
second
just panic.
methodology.
It was
They
so
just
much
panicked.
panic.
Yeah,
There was just
absolutely.
so much panic. That's what I felt watching that. It's just they did not know what to do. And it's the
Yeah,
sad thing is Jadeja and Ashwin, they bowled well, but they didn't have to do anything, really. Just bowl it nice and straight, and then Australia will do the rest. That was the disappointing part. We did not make India work hard at all today. What can you do?
and this game, Australia again won the toss, got a decent score on
What
the
an
board.
advantage. What an
They got
advantage to
us
have.
absolutely. They got that advantage. Their bowlers had India on the mat in the first innings, but in the second innings, actually bowlers didn't have anything to bowl. I think 115 is asking too much from a young bowling attack who have one debutant and one guy who's playing his just second game. It was just too much of an ask for them from the bowling unit. And captain didn't bowl himself. I don't think it was required also, but he also didn't bowl. So, what you make of his captaincy throughout these two test matches, Pat Cummins?
Yeah, it's left. It's always difficult, but he's left a bit to be desired. If I'm being honest, I thought he let things drift yesterday in that crucial partnership between Akshar and Ashwin. Things were just drifting a little bit. He wasn't. I don't think he was quite proactive enough in his fields or his bowling changes. Just let things drift on for a bit too long at times. And his bowling has been a worry. I mean, he's a great bowler, and we all know that. But yeah, I think he hasn't been at his best with the ball, which has hurt Australia as well. So yeah, it's been under par from Paddy in this series, no question, along with a few other players too. I'm not going to only single out Pat, but as the captain, he needs to lead by the front, lead from the front, and it hasn't quite been like that, to be honest. Yeah, he could be a little bit more proactive, I think, with his captaincy. But I don't know, it's difficult with only four main bowling options. I get that, but yeah, you just got to try, not let the game drift.
Travis Head was a big positive for Australia in this game. What do you make of his return as an opener?
Yeah, okay. I mean, he still looks for me very shaky against spin. I thought he played some beautiful shots in the second innings, but you always felt that a wicket was coming. The hope that I had last night was that Travis Head would bat half an hour to an hour at the very least today because he can score quickly. To lose him in the first over hurt. And it was a good delivery, but have a look at how far he's pushing out at the ball. He's playing too early. He's not letting the ball come to him. If he lets the ball come to him more, maybe he would have missed that ball. Maybe he would not have edged it. I don't know. But yeah, if you're playing well out in front of your body like that, you run the risk of getting dismissed. But there was some promising signs.
Yeah. So there's a question for you. Did you think Pacers were missed in this game?
Possibly, look, maybe Stark, especially to the India lower order, potentially. I really do miss. I think we've missed Cameron Green. His bowling as well in this series. Like he offers that extra pace option. So hopefully he'll be ready in the next test, and then we'll see what happens in the next game whether they pick Stark. But yeah, I just think the batting is the big issue for Australia, though. It's not scoring enough runs.
So another question to you is KS Bharat came higher in the order this time around, made a not out 20 look good. How do you find him as a batter and as a keeper so far?
He looks okay. He's taken some really good catches behind the stumps, but he's also let some buys go through that I thought he should have stopped as well. So it's been a little bit of a mixed bag from him, but yeah, he looked good today with the bat. Good situation to come in with the team well on top and on the way to victory. But yeah, I think there's promise there. I just think, for Australia, I think this series would have been even worse if Rishabh Pant was playing. you know, imagine if Rishabh Pant was playing.
I,
That would have
I
been
totally
really
agree with
bad.
you. If suppose India could play, if India in this test, Rishabh Pant could have been in the side in place of Mohammad Siraj, who was hardly used. I think, bowled 5-6 overs with the new ball, and then I don't think he was used
Yeah,
in the entire game. So India might also look to strengthen their batting in the next game and drop a seamer.
yeah,
It can happen, considering because I'm assuming a similar track in Indore also. So another, I think, a very common question in India happening every day: should KL Rahul finally be dropped now because
yeah,
enough is enough? But today he
yeah.
got out on an unlucky way, in an unlucky fashion. But do you think it's time to give the youngster Shubman Gill his due? He's playing well. He has a good record against Australia also.
I would have actually started the series with Shubman Gill. So yeah, I would replace KL. He's had his chances, hasn't he, Rahul? I think he's such a talented player. I don't know what it is with him. He's got everything. He's got good technique. He's got all the shots in the book. But I think there could be a mental issue. Just maybe not confident at the moment or something like that. He seems to be quite nervous at times. So yeah, I would leave KL Rahul out of the next game. Let him work on his game. And then get Shubman Gill in.
I think what I feel the problem with Rahul is he was expected to be the next big thing after Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli, but unfortunately he has not been able to live up to that potential. And youngsters like Shubman Gill, Surya Kumar, though Surya Kumar is higher in age, but number of games, if you see, the international games are less, and they have made a significant impact in international cricket. Players like Ishan Kishan got a double hundred. So I personally feel KL Rahul has just not been able to perform to his best of abilities in his last 3-4 years, and maybe time has come
Yeah, it's
for him
disappointing
to
because
take
he's
a
how many
break.
tests? How
Yes,
many tests has he played? Nearly 50?
I think nearly 50 years, 48, I
Yeah,
believe, to be precise.
48,
Yeah,
47, 48.
yeah,
He's averaging, I think, 34 from memory, something like that.
yes,
Yeah, it's not high enough. So maybe give someone else a chance.
yes. So here comes a stat for us: Test batting average since July 2017. Jadeja is averaging 46.
He's a
Khawaja
great
is
player.
averaging
He
45.
he's a great
Travis
player.
Head is 40. Yeah, Jadeja is doing really well with the bat and with the ball. Two back-to-back man of the match awards
Just
speaks
quietly, I
volume.
will I will say that Ashwin was unlucky not to get man of the match. I don't know if you agree with me.
Yes, Ashwin, I think, made a significant impact in the first innings brilliantly. I think
Bat and
he
ball.
was the one, bat and
Mm.
ball. That if that partnership had not occurred, India could not have won this game at all. I think that partnership helped India get closer to the total, and both of them were unlucky in the manner they got out also. One just chipped, and I think Rancho took a good catch. Then Pat Cummins took a blinder. So I was personally feeling India could take 15-20 runs lead, but in the end, it turned out Australia led by a single run. So the now what?
Australia needed a bigger lead. That was the key
Yes,
partnership. I
yeah.
was thinking of that yesterday. We needed 80 runs, or anyway 50 to 80 runs at least, just to gives us that extra cushion in the second innings, but not meant to be.
So any young batsman also in the squad here, Charbel, that we can perhaps see in the next game? Any better?
Um, is there Marcus Harrison? Oh, no, Marcus Harris is not in the squad. No, I'd probably think they'll get Cameron Green back in the next game if they can drop Renshaw and maybe even move Hanscom to opener, possibly. So they've just got to move a couple of things around. Yeah, and then see what they
So
do with the bowling attack.
Travis Head, so you think will come down the order? Travis Head
Oh
will
yeah,
bat at
yeah.
5.
Actually, no. Yep, Head or Hanscom opening. One of them. I just think Hanscom's really solid, so he can give you that solid start. But Head can give you that quick start. So there's a case for either of them.
So there is a question: is what's wrong with Smith? I don't think anything wrong with Smith, but what's your view?
He's played well on spin friendly pitches before. Remember last time he had a great series. But it's just Ashwin is just in wonderful form, and he's got his number since 2020. I think he's got him out 5 times from memory. So he's just got to find a way to overcome Ashwin at the moment, Smith, and he needs to play a big knock in the next game. Smith not scoring in this series has hurt us badly. Um, I think he's just got to get back to using his feet a lot. That's where he's had success when he uses his feet. Just feel, I mean, Smith trying to play that sweep shot today. I don't think that's his game. When he uses his feet, he's very good. So hopefully he does that in the next game.
So what you make of Ashton Agar not being picked in this game and Kunnaman given a priority over him? He did bowl well. I don't think he bowled bad at all. But I think Ashton Agar could have been a better choice because he's an experienced bowler. I think this time around, this was a very inexperienced attack shown by Australia. What do you think, Ashton Agar? Do you think he's unlucky or do you think a right call was made?
Well, I think there's a situation where he must be bowling really badly at training, or
Okay.
not bowling well enough at training. That's the worry, I think, because I would have had him in the team in the first test, but and because he can bat as well, that's why I would have had him. But he must be bowling badly in training. That's why they've picked Kuniman, who only came into the squad last week. So there's something there that when we don't know about, but I think I don't think he's consistently hitting the right lines and lengths at training. That's what I believe.
So one question I want to ask about the future, not current. See, Stark, Hazelwood, and Cummins, we all know are a great trio. But do you see them, all of three, them playing up to the next WTC cycle? Or do you think now Australia will perhaps bring in one more young quickie in and try to perhaps build him for the future? Or do you think these three will be the chosen ones for the next cycle also? Considering lot of cricket to be played, Ashes is also there in England this time.
Yeah, yeah. Australia could look at blooding in some new talent next season. Given Hazelwood's injury record has been a real problem. I really hope, fingers crossed, someone like Jai Richardson stays fit. He's an excellent bowler. Then you have Scott Boland there as well. That's going to be around for a little bit, and so there's a few options there in the background for Australia. There's Lance Morris there, who's in the squad. He's very
Yeah.
quick. I think it's a good opportunity for Australia to start blooding in some new options there. That they've got some experience at Test cricket by the time the others retire. So we'll wait and see there. But I think the priority now has got to be improving how we play spin.
Yeah. I think there was a stat that come up that in last 30 odd test matches that Australia has played in Asian conditions, they have lost 20 and won only 5. It is a worrying stat. Do you think now it is not only in India that they are struggling, but even teams like Sri Lanka and Bangladesh are giving them a tough time around? The slump has started. Do you think?
Yeah, Bangladesh beat Australia 6 years ago. Sri Lanka won last year. Well, won a test match last year. It was a one-all series draw. Gave Australia problems in that second game. Asia's never been kind to Australia over the last, last decade, 15 years. It's been a struggle. Um, just far too many collapses. The problem is when the team loses a wicket or two, they often lose a big clump of wickets, one after the other. It happened again in this test match. So I don't know. It's got a comment here without sledging, no banter, but I can't sledge. India have got the better of us for the last however many years. I think we've won 3 of the last 16 Border Gavaskar Trophy matches. Australia only won 3 of the last 16, home and away. There's nothing much I can say, to be honest. What can I say? Just got to give credit to the opponent. India have been excellent.
And I think India very wisely took out the strength of Australia by not offering tracks that offer seamers some resistance.
Well, yeah,
So
of course.
now,
But one thing I will say though is that if India produce pitches that seam, that's also good for their attack because India have some excellent paces as well. So,
I
but yeah, I think a pitch like this, I'll always look at it as an opportunity for Australia. You get the chance to bat first on a turning pitch, and you get a decent score on the board, and you have India in big trouble in the first innings. We had a great opportunity and we completely let it slip. India were 139 for 7 at one point. Just yesterday. 24
so
hours
lot
later, the game is over. It's really disappointing.
apps. So fans are seeking about Sean March. He has a good
Sean,
IPL record. Do you
Sean
think is
Marsh,
it
I think, is playing some Sheffield Shield cricket. He's coming towards the end of his career now. No, it's he's had his chances. He's done good service for Australian cricket, absolutely. But time is up, and start looking to the future after this. I think.
so? What are the changes do you expect in Indore? Because I expect a similar track. Be rest assured, the track is going to all the remaining 2 test tracks are going to be like this only. They're going to be turned to offer from the first session. So, what changes do you think will Australia try to bring in the final test?
Maybe Warner out, probably head to opener. Renshaw out, Green in. And I think that might just be the changes that they make. So we'll have head at opener. Renshaw goes out of the team. Yeah, so just thinking about it. So head goes instead of Warner. Then you have Kawaja, Labuschagne, Smith, Head, Green, wait, you got to think of. No, sorry, Hanscom, Green, Hanscom, Green, Carey, Cummins, and then I think the 3 spinners potentially, depending on the conditions.
So, no space for Mitchell Stark. Mitchell Stark.
Depends on the conditions. So if it's a real turning pitch, you might want to go with the extra spinner, and then you have Green as the second seamer. But look, I think Mitchell Stark could be a good option too for the reverse swing. But the question is, which spinner do you leave out? Do you leave the left arm spinner out of the team? But he offers you that option.
Can captain leave himself out and make way for Stark, or can Smith lead in the next game just for the bet? Means because Mitchell Stark is a better reversing bowler than Cummins.
Yeah,
It's a known fact. So can captain make that brave call? It is a tough call. Obviously, it is easy to say, but it
this is the
is.
issue I had. I know Cummins has done pretty well as captain of Australia so far, but I was always thinking of when you put a fast bowler as a captain, when you go to Asia, there's always the issue of can you leave him out of the team? Now, let me get this straight. Cummins is a world class bowler, and I back him to bounce back. So I think I'd stick with him in the next game. It's just, do I bring another seamer uh, into the 11 there? Depends on the conditions, I guess. If it's a real dry, turning pitch, then I think you need the left arm spinner. I thought Kuhneman did pretty well, and he'd be good for the run. But I don't know. We just have to wait and see what the conditions are like, and see what how things pan out.
Any changes do you think India making? Do you think can induct extra batter in place of Siraj, or
No, I
do
think
you think they will?
Siraj set the tone. He bowled beautifully on the first day.
Yeah.
He bowled really nicely. He deserved a few wickets, I think. I think maybe the one change in your make is probably K. Rahul out, and Shubman Gill in. And that's probably it. Everything else looks pretty settled, I think.
So there was a comment just I was reading that Ashton Agar is slightly short on confidence.
That's what I
That
think
there's
as well. I think there's something going on there. I don't think he's bowling particularly well in training.
yeah, because he is a decent all-rounder, and I think in the World Cup coming up, he can play a crucial role because tracks will assist spinners, and being a left-arm spinner who can bat a bit, he can be a very handy option in ODIs also for Australia.
Possibly.
So now Josh Hazelwood is also fit, but I agree with you. The tracks are not such that he will get a look in.
I would
So
not play Cummins and Hazelwood together in the same
yeah.
attack in India. Yeah.
So next test is in Indore, starts at 1st March, 10 days time. Australia have 8 days time. So what do you think they should do in these 8 days? Can they, because they need to, they did well in first 2 days here, but just couldn't carry on the fight the next day. What do you think they should do so that this fight or this resistance stays for a longer period of the game, not restricted to a couple of days?
Yeah, it's batting a lot against spin, of course. I think they've got to work on their defense against spin and using their feet. I think that's the big thing. They're the big things. We didn't see that today. Just went to the sweep shot and in hope, and it was really disappointing. So fingers crossed, come back in the next test, because the thing is now for Australia, the priority has to be is there's still the World Test Championship final. If Australia loses 4-0, there's a risk of missing out. So they have to avoid defeat in one of the two games. That's got to be their motivation now, and fight hard. This is we're talking about the Australian cricket team, always been fighting. So
Yeah.
I just want to see a better fight, especially when it comes to the second innings, because we've had the the luxury of batting first twice and completely wasted the opportunities. Really, really disappointing. So I hope that they continue to work hard on their footwork against spin. Of course, you're not going to come up against Jadeja and Ashwin in the nets, but I think as well, spend time looking at video, spend time reviewing the dismissals. What are they doing wrong? Have a real honest chat about things. Work hard on it in the nets, and then hopefully come out well in the next game.
Yeah, before we wrap up, a word on the English victory today over New Zealand. I think they have their
Yeah, I'm
bowlers did
impressed with.
exceptionally well.
I'm impressed with the way England are playing. I don't know how long it can last, particularly on moving pitches, but they're playing great cricket. You know, you have to hold your hand up and say, well done, Ben Stokes, Brendan McCullum, and the England team. I don't like watching that as an Australian fan. And look, they're definitely favourites for the Ashes later in the year. So I remember someone asked me, it's a big year for Australia. India tour away, Ashes, ODI World Cup. And I told him that Australia are not going to win any of them. So I hope they can prove me wrong in the Ashes. I really do. But England are looking good. They've got a good bowling attack as well.
Absolutely, we all can't wait for the Ashes. So we wrap up things now, and we will see you next in the preview of the third game. And I'm now just waiting for a test match to go to 5 days because all the games are ending 3 days, 3.5 days.
I don't see that
So,
happening. I think it's going to be the same.
so there is a fan request that has come up to you. So you have to come to India to witness the World Cup
Oh,
23.
Oh, I'd love to,
So
but I think it'll be difficult with a young baby, my son,
yeah,
and a wife at home. So maybe a few years in the future, I'd love to visit India for cricket. We'll see.
yeah. So we wrap up the things and we expect better fight. Though I think Australia played really well. I think their bowlers should be given great credit because people do forget this is a young bowling lineup.
They did
I think
well. I agree.
they did really well. They had India on the mat at 139 for 7. It's just that I think credit to be given to Akshar and Ashwin. But I think
One thing I
Australia
will
did a
say as
great job.
well. One thing I will say as well before we finish. Sorry, Cummins didn't bowl enough bounces. When he bowled bouncer, he troubled Ashwin, but it was too late. So that's what I talk about the proactiveness. That partnership was crucial. So anyway, congratulations to you and the India fans. It was a great win.
Yeah, and I expected much more from Australia, but I think it's just that 1 hour is troubling them. That happened in Nagpur, that happened again today, that they are playing bad cricket for an hour and it is costing them the test match. So they need to review their strategies. They are a better side than this. As a fan, expect much more from them. Let's see what they had in store for us in the next game. Thank you for your time, Charbal. Thank you. We catch
Thank
you
you.
soon.
Bye bye.
Okay.
Thanks.
Bye. Thanks. So, friends, it was a great to talk with Charbal, and Aniket has just joined us. Aniket, your views about the game before we wrap up?